Hey, it's Chris. Welcome back to the Tutorial Studio. Today we're going to be looking at importing and exporting data, reading and writing data into RStudio or Visual Studio Code, specifically using the super fast package Rio. Stay tuned. So let's get straight into it. So if you don't already have the Rio package installed, we just simply type install packages and in double quotes leave it's lowercase, and then library Rio to load it into our library. Doesn't seem to like that for some reason. Let's run that. Right, because I've cleared my workspace and I'm doing this for the first time. You might not get this in RStudio, but I'm using Visual Studio Code, although I've changed the theme so it does look very much like RStudio and it works exactly the same. You can save, write and save scripts in VSCode and they'll run in RStudio and vice versa. But for this, it's looking for a command mirror to install, so I always use UK London 1. And then it's installing Rio for me. There we go. Right, so first of all, let's export some data. And then we will, using Rio, and then we will re-import the data. So, good practice, but not necessary. I always, whether I'm using a dplyr function, like a select, for instance, or a dplyr mutate, which I use all the time, I always prefix it with prefix the command with a double colon and the package name. It's not necessary, or not always necessary. It's just if I were to load a package after dplyr and that also had mutate as a function, that would overwrite the dplyr mutate. So I always like to tell RStudio or VSCode with what package I'm using. So the same would be for the Rio package. So like I said, the same can be said for Rio. So let's export some data first. Let's just export the whole Star Wars dataset, which is built into VS Code, or comes with R. So we just go straight into the Rio package, and then export, and then we want to export it to my Tutorial Studio folder. Now, same with RStudio and VS Code, you can either swap the backslash for a forward slash, or add in another backslash to escape the first backslash, and then it will work. The Tutorial Studio, and let's call this, let's export it as a CSV. Star Wars Rio export.csv. Now the good thing about the Rio export and import, it handles multiple data types. So we could put .xlxs, .fst, .csv, all manner all manner of extensions it can support, and it picks that up just by you adding the dot extension at the end. One thing that I haven't done is told it what we want to export. So Star Wars error object Star Wars. Oh, of course, it comes with the tidyverse package. So let's install the tidyverse package and load the library. It's asking for Cranmer again, so we'll use UK London. As I say, I don't think this happens on using RStudio, but I've been using VSCode for approximately the last 12 months or so. I should install the tidyverse. Let's load it into our library. And then we should have Star Wars available as a data frame. There we go. So now we can use Rio, package the export function to export Star Wars, comma, to that file path with that file name, Star Wars Rio export CSV. So let's go ahead and run that. In fact, let me just show you the folder first so you can see in the tutorial studio there is an Excel document in there, Star Wars report, but that's from yesterday, the 4th. So if we run this, we should see how quick that was. That was pretty quick. I should then see Star Wars Rio report exported as a CSV. If we open that up, there we go. And there is Star Wars dataset or data frame exported using the Rio package and the export function to a CSV. Now what we're going to do is we are going to close that. Don't need to save any changes. Let's grab this path, copy the path to that export that we've just created, and then let's kill the terminal, and Star Wars and the loaded packages are removed. Create a new terminal. It's fine. So Star Wars isn't in here now. So I'm going to get rid of that, just so we can't cheat. I'm going to reload Rio and tidyverse. Of course, it wants to know which Cranmer to use. Just let those import and install. There we go. Right, so let's get rid of the export because now we want to import. So we're going to call this Star Wars import, and we're going to assign to that. We're going to assign to that from the Rio package import the file that we previously exported. Again, double backslash or single forward slash. So the Star Wars import assigned to, from the Rio package, the import function, we're going to import the file that we exported previously, which is just the standard Star Wars data frame, using the Rio package, which is super quick. And there we have our Star Wars data frame. First of all, exported using the Rio package, and then re-imported back into our global environment, again using the super fast Rio package. Now, there are many different ways to import and export data into RStudio or Visual Studio Code using the R language. Rio is the one I use more commonly because of its speed. There are other ones that I use, the FST package, which I believe stands for fast. That is also really, really quick. I don't think it's quite as quick as Rio, but it is very fast. And there's also some extra functionality that comes along with that. You can select which columns, for example, which columns that you want to select on the import. So it'll only import certain columns. With FST, when you're doing an export, you can export it with different levels of compactness to make the file size smaller. And yeah, there's lots of different ways to import and export data, but Rio is the one that I use most often, just for its speed. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that's useful. Really simple importing and exporting data using the Rio package, import and export, and the Star Wars data frame available in the Tidyverse package in R. As I said, this is using Visual Studio Code, but it's very much the same, and the exact code would work in RStudio. Please like the video if you like the video. I would love you to subscribe if you haven't already. And please feel free to leave a comment. If there's anything else that you'd like to know or have any questions, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments section and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. All the best.